Hello and welcome to Scarlet Serpent Readings. Thank you so much for joining me again for another pick a card, another timeless pick a card, I should say. This one's all about the flow of abundance. What is possibly blocking this flow of abundance, and how can you, what can you do to receive more of that abundance? So we have 3 cards today. This is pile 1, pile 2, and then pile 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So take your time to intuitively choose a card or a stone, and I'll meet you at your pile. Hi, pile 1. If you chose this green tourmalated quartz crystal, a lot about heart chakra healing here. So let's go ahead and put this card back into the pile and shuffle. So we're going to find out, I'm going to take 2 cards for you first. One is what is restricting your flow, and then the second one would be how to step into abundance. How could you manifest more abundance in your life? So what is restricting your flow of abundance right now? It's like self-doubt, lack of belief, I feel. Okay, so that's restricting, and then let's see. Okay, can you manifest? I'm not going to be reading reversals either, just in case this one might be a reversal, but I'm not going to read it that way. Okay, so what is restricting your flow of abundance? We have the King of Talismans. It's an interesting card when it comes to restricting flow, considering, the King of Talismans is kind of that masculine energy, not just masculine energy, but kind of protective energy. We have the sword there as well. And very giving. It's more like, it feels like an environmental card, like you are a home for many. You provide for many. But it's interesting that this would be a restriction. I might get clarification on this. Yeah, let me clarify that. Because I wouldn't expect this unless you don't actually feel as though you have any restrictions right now when it comes to the flow. Oh! These 2 came out, which is the 6 of Pentacles and the 8 of Pentacles. Not Pentacles, Cups. 6 of Cups and 8 of Cups. So with 6 of Cups, there's, I believe it's Scorpio? Scorpio, the Sun in Scorpio, so reminiscing on something. It's interesting how balanced these cups look. So it's like remembering good things and bad things in the past. I'll tie it in later when it comes to manifestation and abundance. But then we have also the 8 of Cups, which is all about Pisces. This is Saturn in Pisces. I believe it's Saturn. Well, it says it there. Whatever. But generally it's moving away from something that doesn't serve you. So it's kind of like, I get this feeling that if it was reversals, it would make more sense, but there's an inability to move away from the past as far as what being the King of Talismans feels like. I feel like it might be just a misunderstanding of what this energy is, of what, especially being all about abundance. It's like, you might have given too much in the past, and you're almost reluctant to do that in the future. And I feel as though, okay, so there's this like limiting mentality. Like you didn't have enough energy to provide for someone as much as you would have liked. And this is a lot, this is past, this might have been a relationship here. Where it was like a lot of emotional energy and you felt exhausted because you were giving so much and getting so little in return. It caused you to move away from it, to find your own kind of emotional satisfaction. We also have these two cups in this little bubble, so it's kind of solidifying what's truly meaningful to you and what's truly balancing. But considering that this is all about abundance, and this is very strongly associated with financial wealth, it's like there's a restricting flow. Like you feel as though you can't be the king of talismans because there simply isn't enough money to go around, and there's like a defensive stance that you're holding right now. It's like, oh, there's only so much to be made. There's only so much more. There's only so much time to do any given thing when it comes to, how you create this wealth for yourself. And I think that limiting belief is what's keeping you from receiving more, so that you can give more. Because I feel as though this pile really wants to make a lot of money, specifically money. I'm just gonna put that out there, so that you could provide for others. Like there's this nurturing energy to you. But I think that because you realized in the past that you weren't nurturing yourself as much as you could have, and that there's like just a person or a situation that was draining you emotionally speaking, that's kind of reflecting on the finances as well, where you want to take care of yourself first, but there's again this sense of scarce mentality. There's only so much, so I need to take care of myself first before I could start giving to anyone. So it's like you're meant to be this king of talismans, but your mind isn't quite at that point. And I also say the mind because there's a sword here, and I'm thinking of what do you call it? Like King of Swords too. Yeah, it's interesting that we have a pentacle and a sword. So it's like having the mindset of being a king of talismans. Being in the mindset that I actually have everything I need and I have enough to provide for others. I just don't feel like you're quite there yet. So I feel as though, it's funny, I mentioned not reading reversals, but I feel as though this could have been a reverse. So let's see how you could step into that flow of abundance. 7 of Wands. I'll clarify it too, just because I did for the other one. But standing up for yourself. You have that sense of standing up for yourself, setting boundaries. Okay, so like, and I could see how this would mirror. It's like not giving too much at the expense of yourself. So there's kind of that, it depends on the viewer, take what resonates, leave the rest. But some of you might have trouble setting boundaries. And this has to do with emotional boundaries. Like, what do you choose to do for others at the expense of yourself? And that indirectly ties to wealth. Like, what are you willing to, I would say, in the form of time, like, where do you allocate your time? Is it for you and being in a place of security and abundance, or are you just giving too much to other people? And I feel like that's probably like an empathic group over here. But as it relates to the 7 of Wands, it's about standing up for yourself, like knowing when to say no, knowing when to just step away from the distractions of other people, because a king knows when to draw the line. A king knows when, okay, that's not I'm not gonna do that. Like that, you're overstepping your boundaries, and a king knows when to. Again, this isn't gender specific. I mean, just that sense of mastery of that suit of cards. Let's just clarify this. Oh. Anything else? Okay. You have the Magician clarifying the Seven of Wands. I'm drawn to the infinity symbol. I don't know if that was there in the original tarot deck in Rider-Waite, but I see it here. So that sense of infinite flow, infinite abundance, infinite healing as well. Having all the resources you need to, let's see if this can focus back. There we go. So it feels like fighting scarcity with knowing that you have everything you need. And that just because you have all the resources doesn't mean you need to give them all away straight away, you know. Be discerning in where you spend your time, where you spend your energy, where you spend your money. But really, it's almost like an awareness of energy, an awareness of attention. Because I feel like there's, yeah, a lot of people who want what you have, and you're willing to give it very quickly. And you're kind of stepping, it's like, instead of setting boundaries and saying no, and you know, I can't do this, or I can't pay for this, or I don't want to just dedicate this much time just listening to you speak. Like, you're talking too much, be quiet. You tend to just run away and just move away from it, like cut people off completely. There's that sense of, okay, I'm done with you forever because I don't know how to draw a boundary. Because I feel if you stepped into this energy and let people know, it's like, okay, actually you can't cross this line. And at that point, you know, if they do, then you could leave. But I feel like you're leaving too quickly. So you're actually in this energy. It's just not quite balanced. So there's like a minor shift, definitely. Boundary setting is coming through strongly, and you have everything. Again, these two feel similar. This is what's blocking you. This is how you can step into it. It's kind of aligning these two things, because again, the Magician has all the tools necessary to manifest whatever the Magician needs. This is all about communication as well with Mercury, and I'll just put it there because I'm noticing that there's Mars and then Mercury, and I feel like you feel that there's a struggle in communicating your feelings. So it's like these emotions, you have trouble expressing them to other people. Not only that, but in the past, it's like the people that you try to set boundaries towards don't listen. And I think that's why this sword is popping up so much. There's no swords in this reading so far, but it's like expressing yourself, drawing lines, and communicating what is okay and what is not okay to others. And this could also be reflected in yourself. Like, what do you tell yourself? Like, if you tell yourself, I'm not going to do this today, and you do it anyway, that's kind of like you're overstepping your own boundaries, and you're setting that expectation energetically for others to, you know, allow that sort of, I was going to say disobedience, which is a little, I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm just going to leave it there because I can't think of another. So I'll just draw a couple extra cards, maybe to close this out. Like, what's the overall message as far as, you know, achieving, I'm not going to take that. Really stepping into the flow of abundance at its fullest potential. Oh, ah! just gonna put it like that. So the Ten of Pentacles is in the middle. It popped up, so I'm just gonna say that, like, this is a central card. And again, this feels like an environmental card where it's like, I don't know, I feel like the King of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles here is like being in a supporting environment for others. Like, that's really important to you. And I think realizing that you have the ability to do that regardless of how much money you have is gonna shift the mindset a bit. And playing, this is a playful elephant. Kind of on 2 feet, standing, there's trees around, there's the spotlight, there's a sense of fun, and it's like it's easier to provide for others when you're comfortable within yourself. Just that strong sense of not neglecting your needs at the expense of other people. Because again, with this 7, it's like knowing when to not fight others, but stand up for yourself. Then we have the Justice. This one wanted to come out earlier, and I put it away. So again, balance. We have the Sword again, all about communication, truth, living your truth, and not putting that aside for other people. It's like this isn't, I can imagine, you have one way of wanting to achieve success, or what success means to you might not be the same thing as what it means to others. And just being firm on that, like within yourself. You don't have to necessarily convince others of your philosophy on life or any of that, but not allowing yourself to be influenced by other people. That's what I'm getting with this. Look how bright that sun is. Truly illuminated here. There is a crown on this Justice card. So there's 2 crowns. Really stepping into your own royalty. Come on. Where's this? There we go. Yeah, because there's a lot of abundance, a lot of wisdom, and a lot of support here with this pile. But it's all about balancing yourself. That emotional, energetic kind of flow, give and take with others, and within yourself as well. And yeah, just not getting influenced by what it means to be successful. What abundance means for other people might not necessarily apply to you, especially since most, I mean, I don't want to throw shade at other people, but the average person accepts mediocrity, and I know I'm not like that. And I'm sure, you know, being the King of Talismans, that you're not like that either, that you don't just accept. I think of like value versus quality, you know, like, no offense, Walmart, you know, there's this value item, you can get 2 for 1, like a 16-ounce cocktail, versus just getting one really good thing, you know, again, no offense, like a Hyundai or a Chevy car, or versus a Lexus, or, you know what I'm getting at. There's just, I prefer quality. I prefer fewer quality things than, you know, a bunch of trash. And I think that's something that you're aware of, is that these coins don't represent a lot. It represents quality of life, quality of your environment, and sharing that feeling of true security and true wealth, real wealth. It's like expressing it and stepping into that now. Like, you don't need to actually have X amount of dollars to do this. You could express the quality things that you have within you now. And then we have the, what is this? 7 of Cups. Lots of cups here, and lots of options, lots of ways to go about, you know, making money if that's something you're interested in doing. and it could be overwhelming, and that's where the intuition comes in, and trusting in yourself. Being the king is like, well, if I'm choosing this path, then, you know, if I'm choosing this cup, then that's the cup I'm choosing, and I kind of accept what's in it regardless. There's not that, there might have been an indecisiveness to you in the past where you want to know what's in the cup before you take it, and I feel like shifting that from just taking the cup that you feel intuitively drawn to, and owning up to it. Like if you choose, let's say, was that a snake? If you choose the snake, you're not afraid to just accept that and be like, okay, maybe I don't want the snake, and then you go back. But there's like there's strength here. There's a lot of strength, a lot of masculine energy here, and it's kind of wielding it appropriately and knowing that you have the power to attract what you want. Let's just grab one more oracle, an oracle card to close out the reading. What's the final message for pile 1 in regards to manifesting abundance? Whoop. 2 cards then, that's fine. I'm not gonna argue. Okay, it's just ancestors. I'm feeling, well, we also have roots, so that could be significant. This pattern might have roots in, it's like this kind of karma, this kind of a way of thinking that is passed down from the ancestors, from your family, as to kind of shifting that perspective of value versus quality, and being fair to yourself and not giving too much, because this could have to do with family, like standing up for yourself here. A lot of family influence as to what it means to be successful, to, it's like, oh, you need to work a 9-to-5 job, and if you're not, then you're not being productive. Like, that's ridiculous. But a lot of parents and, you know, family that are very content with, again, mediocrity and just safe versus true expression. I feel like that's something that's very strongly rooted, and that's why it might seem like it's pretty difficult. I'm also noticing that the swords could be cutting off that tie to just a certain way of doing things. Like I feel like you're the one who's going to break that. But also knowing that in the spirit, you know, depending on your beliefs and whatnot, in the spirit world, you know, you might have the support of your ancestors as well. That I think those who have passed have a different view of what's going on, and they're more in an energy of understanding, especially if it comes to like breaking karmic cycles that your whole family has been carrying on for, you know, a long time. And then we have death. Okay, so that kind of, this card has been all over me. So not just a transformation. You notice a butterfly here and flowers. I saw 2323, which is like fives. So I'm just thinking 5-5. That's kind of like a transformative number. But anyway, it's kind of that ending of the cycle. That's just what I'm getting. The death of, again, mediocrity, again, of accepting and giving too much and not receiving enough. And I feel as though it's also the death of allowing people to cross your boundaries. Taking more time to yourself, because, again, when this elephant has everything the elephant needs, then it's got more than enough to give to everyone else, and that's when you could step into like a proper king of pentacles, a provider, a source of finances, abundance for other people, because again, that just feels like something you want to do. You're a very balanced person, you're a very giving and honest person, and you, I feel as though part of even your life purpose, I would say, is to showcase what it means to be truly fair, truly giving, and you know, the best side to having wealth is that you give it back. So I hope this reading was helpful. I do have personal readings that are in depth. You can find those in the description below, and hopefully you liked the video. Let me know, and I hope to see you soon. Take care. Hi Pile 2, if you chose this lovely yellow stone, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into your reading. Putting this card back into the pile so I could shuffle. I'm going to choose 2 cards. One is going to be what is restricting your flow of abundance, and one is going to be how you could manifest more abundance, really step into that flow that everyone's meant to experience, of receiving more than enough. So what is restricting pile 2's flow of abundance? I'm just going to put that back because it came out in pile 1. So if you're drawn to pile 1 and you weren't sure, you could go ahead and look at that pile as well, or instead of this. But I'm just going to continue for a sec. It's restricting. Okay. I'm also not going to be reading reversals in this reading, so just a heads up. How can you step into more abundance? Okay, so we'll start with this because it came face up, and it's all about you know, allowing yourself to experience new emotional joy, things that you have the eye here as well, so it's kind of like a wisdom to it, that being drawn intuitively to new ideas, not allowing yourself to, not stopping yourself from enjoying new experiences, and kind of pursuing those, because I feel, yeah, a strong sense of newness to this pile. So maybe there's a new project or endeavor that will bring not necessarily the finances, but the flow of abundance. In other words, like the feeling that you have everything you need. That could come from doing something like a new hobby or something you enjoy doing that just makes you happy. And being in that state of happiness really opens you up to receiving more, which is, I feel like that's the overall message of this pile, is the best thing you could do is open yourself to receiving, as opposed to feeling as though you don't have it or you need this thing in order to get it. It's more of just being happy and, again, opening up, like the eyes overflowing. So yeah, that's what I'm getting with this. I'll probably clarify as well, but this is what's restricting your flow. The 3 of Cups. Huh. Kind of similar to pile 1 again. You might be just sharing too much of that flow, or you might, okay, confuse other people's happiness for your own, like the hobbies that other people like to things that you like. And there's, considering the similarities between these cards, it's like finding your own satisfying, you know, hobbies, things that brighten you up, as opposed to feeling that other people are what bring you joy. So it's like, obviously, hanging out with friends is wonderful, and I'm not telling you to stop doing that. I'm not telling you to do anything, because I don't like being told. I hate when readers are like, you need to do this and that. I'm like, I don't need to do anything, be quiet. But anyway, it's like hanging out with friends is great and obviously wonderful for you, but it's like if you get tied into, you kind of lose your sense of identity. And it's kind of like, by finding your own way and enjoying your time alone, you might step into more of this flow of abundance, if that makes sense. So it's like, I'm just getting an example of, let's say your friends like going to bars and they go to drink, and because there's cups, so inevitably. It's like, yeah, let's go to the club, and then you associate hanging out with them and being happy with friends to going to the club. So it's like, or going to a bar, it's like, oh, let's go to drink this weekend. Like, yeah, that makes me happy, but I feel as though if you take time away from that, you would realize that actually you might just enjoy the company of your friends without the alcohol, and that might be kind of that line that you start drawing. It's like, actually, can we do something else? Or maybe you just don't want to hang out as much, kind of take some of those days off that you might have and just allowing yourself to receive guidance from you as to maybe like allowing yourself to wander a bit so you could discover something that might satisfy you that isn't as expensive or bad for you as alcohol. I don't know, I keep thinking of that, but there it is. I just saw 3030, so that might mean something to some of you. And then there's the number 3. So, okay, Ascended Master energy, since there's 3 threes in that sequence that I just mentioned, so you might have an Ascended Master helping you, or also, yeah, again, sharing, like you might feel almost glued to a group of people that, you know, is great, but I feel as though finding your own sense of identity, yet sense of self, is what's really gonna put you in line with receiving more from the universe. So let's see what, let's clarify this 3 of Cups as to what's restricting. So I got the Moon with Pisces. So there's kind of that shadow element there. A lack of clarity. I mean, we have the Eye here, so we'll notice these are very similar. Intuitive connection. We'll have to get more cards here. I'll just say that I had to get up from my chair to get that card, so you might need to get out of your comfort zone, which might be these people. Then we have the Prince of Talismans, which is the Knight of Pentacles, moving slowly. I feel like you just might be spending a lot of money on a hobby that isn't serving you at this time. At the back of the deck, I saw this card, Magnum Opus. I don't know what it means because it's a different, but there's the Eye is there again. So you're getting the Eye quite often. Being intuitive, kind of like an unveiling of truth that you might kind of be neglecting in the situation here with kind of your close friendships, this sharing energy, is that it's almost costing you your own independence, your own freedom, and money. Or it's making this path to abundance slower than it needs to be. That's just what I'm getting here. It's like a heaviness to this energy. And again, I don't want to tell you that it's like your friends. It might just be like specifically an addiction that's stopping this, but also just needing people so much that you can't handle being by yourself. And that might be part of the reason why you might feel restricted as far as abundance. It's like, yeah, enjoy your own company. I think when you enjoy your own company, you'll notice what actually makes you really happy, and then when you start doing that thing that makes you happy, you open up. Like you're just in a good state to receive guidance and feeling like you have everything you need. So we're gonna clarify this Ace of Elixirs. Oh, we got 2 cards. We have the King of Talismans showing up again. And then we have the 8 of Pentacles, kind of, okay, so it's like And then we have the sun in, I don't know, sorry. But anyway, lots of pentacles on this side. But I feel as though this is kind of, King of Talismans represents you. It's like through discovering yourself, you might find something new to invest your time in and to really become the King of Talismans, which feels like it represents what you want to be. Just strong sense of security for other people, financially or otherwise, but also just providing a safe environment for maybe a family. But it feels as though working on yourself, working on something you want to work on, as opposed to kind of slowly, in a blind kind of way, like giving your energy to other people. It's like taking all that kind of scattered energy and focusing on something you really want. Because I also see like the moon isn't always a bad card, and it doesn't really feel bad here. It just feels scattered because you see the little dots everywhere with this moon card. And with the Ace of Elixirs, it's just more concentrated. It's being poured into something that'll nourish these pentacles and make this grow. I think because this is so scattered, that flow of making more money is slower than it needs to be. We'll also notice kind of that shape of the moon there as well. So it's like there's something you're not seeing in this situation here, in that group activity, and that it could be a work environment as well. But it's like it's just trickling. It's like you're sharing happiness. Well, I don't want to say sharing happiness, but sharing the energy of wealth, of how do I say? It's like instead of there's this bowl and it's raining and it's like if the bowl is big, how do we say this? If the bowl is big, like if you have one big bowl, then you can catch more rain, as opposed to kind of scattering 3 little bowls and it just takes longer. And I feel like once you have that rain, that kind of your heart opens up to an idea of moving towards something that you could fully focus it. What I'm feeling for this group is just a lack of awareness as to what really lights you up and going for it all out, like putting in the work towards you. We're just gonna grab a few cards when it comes to this whole situation, kind of tying it together, and then I'll do an oracle. So, okay. There's a lot of cards popping out today. Okay. It's like, I heard, take these, just take them. Okay, fine. Maybe you're not taking what's given to you at face value, like you're turning a blind eye to something that's right in front of your face. That it's not serving you. You have the Death card. Wow. The Death card showed up in the last reading as an oracle. So it's kind of ending this cycle, I feel. And then we have the Key as well. And there's like a gate behind this person. So it's kind of like opening yourself up again to more by allowing something to end. And it feels like just addiction, the word addiction keeps coming up, so I'm not sure. But also, I would say just your focus, like ending, being as scattered to focusing on something that actually genuinely makes you happy. Then we have the Five of Cups, which is a lack of emotional satisfaction, again, kind of emotional loss here. And that might be a realization that's coming. The part of the death is that this glass isn't holding up like you might want it to. Like, I feel as though friendships are shallow. Like these glasses are empty. This is empty. There's only one full glass of water here, and that glass of water I feel like might be you, and that you if you just go over here and be alone and embrace your own solitude, your own goals, your own ambitions, that you could develop that abundance for yourself, and then you could provide to others because you do want to share it. And then we have the King of Pentacles, or King of Cups. Uh-oh. This might be a person who's coming towards you. Again, with the King of Pentacles energy, I feel like there is a reflection there. But also, I could see how if you step into this energy, this King of Cups energy, is that you'll find the importance of doing things that resonate with your heart chakra. Because that's kind of that guidance if you've been feeling lost. And there might have been a neglect on that front. And then we have the Queen of Wands. So there's a lot of, it kind of reflects this Three of Pentacles, because I'm getting 3 court cards and then not Three of Pentacles, 3 of Cups. So that could be a reflection of it. This King of Pentacles is kind of sharing too much with this King of Cups, and then there's a Queen of Wands. Like this might be like a mother figure, I don't know. But it's like you want to share everything with these other people who like just saw 4141. Every time I look, there's some, anyway. But you might be sharing too much of your energy with people who don't need it, who are perfectly competent within themselves to achieve what they want, and you're just such a giving person that you're just giving them more than what they need, energetically speaking. And it's tearing you up a little bit, because in your heart of hearts, I'd say, it's like, you need to take the time for yourself to figure yourself out. And I think that's what this Death card is all about. We'll get clarification with this oracle. I'm going to draw one oracle card just to close out the reading. It's like a final message. Okay, yeah. And your card is Ascension. I'm going to draw another one, but I just feel as though do another one. It feels as though the reason why these connections aren't working anymore is because you're, ascending spiritually, just becoming more aware. We have the Eye of the Moon and the Ace of Elixirs. I feel as though there's this potential to attract. If you feel like this doesn't really resonate as far as the people that you're around, maybe those are the people who are replacing those 2 other cups. So people who are more spiritually competent, is that what I want to say? But more aware spiritually, and could give you more than just kind of like this shallow hanging out, let's go watch a movie, instead of actually spending time, enjoying each other's presence. I'm getting that sense as well. Like, I'm picturing, when you're with a group of friends and you're sitting at a table, maybe at a restaurant, and everyone at the table is just on their phone. They're just looking down, texting. You might as well be alone. Like, I get, a little triggered because that used to happen, and then I cut out all my friends and then started forming a relationship with myself, and it's like, oh, I really don't need to waste my time with people who aren't even present anyway. So that might be something that you're becoming more aware of. You're spreading your wings. You're kind of changing your viewpoint of what's important to you, how you view your time, and the Magi. This feels like a magician energy. More eyes. So there's just like And we have kind of that, it's like this, it feels, yeah. So you're more aware of what you want and you're slowly stepping into it. And I think just directing that focus, the eyes, like where you see yourself being, what situations you want to put yourself in, and kind of releasing, there's like a little string there. So releasing ties to specifically, this feels a lot like people. A lot like people, so just letting them go. Because, not to put anyone down, but it seems shallow and it feels as though they're holding you back from getting that abundance. It's kind of like little stepping stones. One thing leads to another. So as you dedicate more time into self-development, stepping into your own joy, embracing being alone in the meantime, because people who are aligned to this higher version of yourself, like the higher self or what have you, they'll come to you. There's still going to be people coming to you, but it's just focusing on you and developing yourself and spending money on your hobbies that you want to be doing instead of just following the crowd, because that crowd, again, is not up to your standard anymore, I would say. And that's part of manifestation as well. It's having the faith that as you let this go, new relationships that are, again, more satisfying to you, emotionally speaking, at a deeper level, can come to you. So I hope this reading was helpful. I know there's a lot going on. Please let me know. Consider liking, subscribing, all that jazz, and I also do personal readings that are more in-depth. If you're interested in those, they'll be at the description box below. So thank you for your time, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye. Hi, Pile 3. If you chose the Azurite Malachite stone, looks like the planet Earth when the camera wants to focus. There we go. We're going to be finding out what is restricting your flow of abundance, how you could step into more abundance, kind of clarifying, fleshing out the details as to that situation, and then drawing an oracle at the end. I do also, of course, personal readings. They'll be found in the description if you want something a little more detailed. So let's start with what is restricting your flow of abundance. That is what is restricting it. And I'm not going to be reading reversals for this reading. Okay. I'm hesitating because this came out in the last reading in this side. So if you were drawn to pile 2, you might want to, these are all connected, of course, but like it's very connected. Let's see. It's kind of what's clarifying this 8 of Pentacles. So stepping into the flow of abundance is kind of putting in the effort of like just, we'll see what the effort's all about, but kind of realizing that it takes time, and it's kind of like a discipline of, I would say, being in this space of abundance, being in like, oh, I have, like constantly reminding yourself, I have everything I need, I have everything I need, every day, really. And I think the more you say that out loud, it's kind of like a mantra that'll help you attract more of it. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune. It's a very powerful card when it comes to describing this. It's like allowing yourself to be where you are and knowing that, the wheel turns, it's always turning. The more centered you are within that wheel, the less you feel the turn. And we're gonna, of course, clarify all these later. Well, I guess this is the clarification for that, but it's kind of like that effort you're putting in. This is a card of hard work. Like the effort you're putting in is going to come back to you, but it might feel slow. There's a sense of slowness, which is probably why you might feel like you don't have the abundance you want right now, or you might have an idea as to where you want to be and you're not there yet, and it might be a little frustrating, but that work that you're putting in already is, how do I say, it's like the universe is processing it. It's like, yeah, it's aware of the work you're putting, and you're going to get that in return. It just takes time, and you can't really rush that sort of thing. If you want something done properly, you can't rush it. So what's blocking, restricting that flow? Oh, I said I wasn't reading reversals, you guys. The Eight of Wands, communication. It is in reverse, so... well, this would have to do with, yeah, a lack of communication, but I also feel as though you're not expressing yourself fully. Like, you might be diluting the colors of the clothing you wear, something like that. Trying to fit in too much, I feel. Let's clarify this card, which is Sagittarius. What is this? Mercury in Sagittarius? Yeah, that's really what I'm getting, is like a Sagittarius wants to be really free, and there's kind of this hiding of it, putting all these candles, all this light beneath the surface and not letting other people see it. I feel like that's restricting your flow. By not allowing yourself to be you, there's kind of that sense of shame there. And then we have the King of Talismans, again, in reverse. Are these all in reverse? No. This, I think it's just the theme of this whole reading. This has been in every single pile, so just letting you know. And I'd say it's like you're kind of, this almost seems like the crown is upside down. Like you don't want to accept the responsibility that comes with being yourself. But I feel in order to get this king to be upright, you have to, you know, and we have 2 8s, so it takes strength and courage to not only be disciplined and to take your time when it comes to just the work you're putting in. It feels more spiritual at this time, but it could be also, you know, career, that kind of thing. But it feels very slow. It's just like it's coming back to you. But here, it's just that kind of a sense of suppression, like you're afraid of the judgment of people, and instead of defending yourself, you're kind of, yeah, diluting. That word is just coming through, like diluting yourself, watering yourself down, because I feel as though this pile might not want to stick out too much in the crowd, but there's, you know, there's people who, okay, so I live in Miami, and, well, I don't live in Miami, in the area, and just everyone's desperate for attention, and as loud as possible, wearing the most obnoxious things, you know, being flashy as possible, just for the sake of attention. And that's not what this is about. It's not like you don't have to be flashy for the sake of being flashy, but there's also this part in it's like your solar plexus chakra that's like, needs to shine a little bit more, because you want to, like, this is just your soul wants to express itself a bit more. I also just like, if anyone's singing but doesn't want to sing for anyone, that kind of thing, like you're a singer, you like singing, but you don't want anyone to hear you. That's kind of putting all that talent and putting it beneath the surface, and that same idea, now I'm just on creativity. This could be just a creative endeavor that you're not allowing people to see, and this creative endeavor is what's going to put you in this place of receiving specifically financial security and independence. And I feel as though this could be tied to, these are all tied of course, but this could be tied to this, you know, like you're putting in a lot of work into here because these 8s align, you know, you're putting a lot of work into this talent. You have the ability to really speed this up a lot. I'm playing. Like, you don't see that? Anyway, I shouldn't be too silly. But what just happened? Okay. Yeah, putting time into this ability that you don't want to show other people. And this, it's kind of like the good luck comes from this that you're not allowing to express itself. So that's really what's going on. It feels like there's this talent, there's this gift that'll put you straight up here really quickly. Like you have a lot of luck on your side, but you're limiting yourself because of just not wanting to express, not wanting to communicate, being afraid of judgment. Is there anything else? Yeah, because and this is the way out. This is the, I mean, the way into the flow of abundance is like still being diligent and putting in the time and effort and energy into something that you enjoy, but I feel as though this is something that's already happening. And the result is good luck, because this came out with it. We'll get clarification and in more depth with these cards here. Like what's going on, what's the full story. Oh, okay. I'm just making all those noises because I'm so stubborn. I'm like, this needs to go here, but then I, you know, allow things to go as they are meant to, and then, I don't know. That might tie into this though, that you feel like circumstances have to be perfect before you allow yourself to express this gift that you have, and it might not happen that way. Like you might be missing opportunities by just not allowing yourself to get out there when the opportunity comes. We have the Emperor here. It's just all about structure and discipline. There's a sense of discipline for this reading, especially with the Eight of Pentacles here. Like you're willing to put in that work, and you're in that energy. It's not, this isn't Aries, this is Aries, this is Sagittarius, but it's kind of like that fire energy is there. Okay, we'll find out more in a bit. The Magician, a lot of these cards are repeating, but in different decks and in different ways. So, I mean, all these piles again are very similar, but there's little shifts. Anyway, you have the ability to manifest this King of Talismans that you want to be. This is all about manifesting abundance and being in the flow of abundance, but for pretty much everyone in all the piles, that does relate to money. And that's because, at least in this day and age, money is freedom in a lot of ways. I mean, you can have the freedom to be homeless and, you know, live under a tree and feed yourself. Earth has everything for you, but when it comes to abundance, like true freedom, like you can't exactly fly to Hawaii if you're homeless, you know. You can't experience the world if you don't have money, which is unfortunate, but that's just where we are right now. Anyway, solar plexus? Did I mention that before? There's that possibility. I don't remember, but this could be a call to solar plexus work when it comes to, especially tied to creativity here. But you have the tools necessary and the discipline. So you have what you need. It's just the strength to allow other people to see it. It's like underneath these cards we have a very strong major arcana working beneath the scenes with you, for you. And then we have the 8 of Cups. Wow, it's just blowing my mind. How similar. Anyway, so another 8. This is all tying together. This is 888. Could be, you could associate that with like goddess energy, but that's up to you. We also have the same symbol, which is the infinity symbol. It's like the power that you have within you to manifest this thing that you want. But you also feel out of place, like kind of finding your own way here into, you know, and you're not meant to fit in. I think that's the problem, is that you're willing to put yourself in a lower position, to dilute yourself again, just so you could be average like everyone else. And that's not what you're meant to do, I feel. For Fortuna, it feels like bigger than life kind of energy. It's like you're meant to be big and you're making yourself feel small. But you've put a lot of effort. That's the thing, you've put in a lot of effort. Could be writers in here. And then we have the 5 of Swords. And here, just in this deck, it feels like you're just being tied down. In a way, it's like there's this gold, but it's being tied to here, and there's still flowers blossoming anyway. Like, you could still blossom and achieve abundance and all of this, even if you continue to tie yourself down, you see, but it won't be to the fullest extent, and it won't be as satisfying as if you were to allow yourself to fully express yourself. Okay, so I also feel as though there's this union between practicality and spirituality, of like a very organized, structured way of doing things, and being a little more mystical, and free-flowing and ethereal, I'd say, as to achieving your definition of success and abundance. I also feel as though, while, you know, it's kind of like mainstream in America, or just people in general, feel as though you have to work really, really, really hard, and the harder you work, the more you get, that sort of thing. But I feel like this isn't something that feels right to you. Like, you feel as though you shouldn't have to work that hard to get abundance, and that it's kind of like leaving you feeling a bit shallow. So I just wanted to put that out there, and to follow those feelings, because it doesn't really have to be that difficult. There's always this, how do you say? There's just such a sharp difference between humanity and then the rest of the animal kingdom. Like, we work so hard, we're doing a bunch of stuff, but we're not really doing anything for the planet. As opposed to animals that just effortlessly, and I'd mentioned this in a previous reading, that effortlessly have fun, they do what they do, they're flying around, pollinating and all this, and it's effortless, and they're, you know, providing for the environment, they're contributing to the well-being of the planet in itself. And I bring that up because the King of Talismans is all about that as well. I mean, it's not just wealth, it's providing a safe environment, a sense of security for others, and that does tie into the planet as a whole as well. So we're gonna grab one oracle just to close out this reading, a final message for pile 3. Versatility. I just feel like there's just more ways than one to get to where you want to go, and that one skill can translate into others. So if you feel like you've been putting a lot of effort into something more practical, that can tie into creativity somehow, even if it's just like stepping into the feeling or recognizing, I don't know, there's just a lot of ways to because again, this is, I think it's a cannabis plant, and it just does a lot. Like you can do hemp, people make bags with it, and oils, and this and that. So it's just kind of like one thing, one main idea can spread out and have a positive effect on various other things. Anything else? Okay. Power. Okay, well that couldn't be more on the nose, and I'm glad it's there. Strength, power. This ties directly to the eights. So the Eight of Wands, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Eight of Cups. And stepping into your power. And I had mentioned solar plexus, I believe, a couple times, so I would absolutely take that into consideration, just doing solar plexus work. I have this crystal here. Feeling that inspired action and taking the action that you feel, you need to do at any given point regarding anything, really. Allowing yourself to shine is power as well. Power is love too, but not diluting yourself, not dimming your light, allowing it to shine. Again, 3 different eights: power, strength. We have the infinity symbol, so there's also that sense of balance. This is also an infinity symbol, and it mirrors the number 8. So I would pay really, really close attention to when you see the number 8 by itself, or if you see 888, and recognize the thought process that you're having at that moment, because you do have the power to step into that flow, to make yourself the king of talismans, to be seen and make an impact on the planet in a big way, a very big way. I wouldn't be surprised if the number 8 was kind of your, what do they call it, like your birth number or something. Mine is the number 8, so that's why I'm like, wow, okay. Yeah, but there's a lot going on for you. It's just more of allowing yourself to express yourself fully in any way you can. You don't need money for it. You already have what you need. So I hope this reading was helpful. Please let me know how I did, and I hope to see you again in the future. Bye.